Hello and welcome back to another update for Galactic Armada, which is a game I am building solo. I am building this game currently by myself, the only developer. And in this update, I'm going to show some of the things I've been working on recently, which is over the past weekend. So I've done some minor updates to the graphics, and you can see that the sun is slightly dimmer because I've had to make some adjustments for various reasons. I've also added a bloom effect to the planet to give it a little bit more atmospheric depth, because I like the idea of having the feeling of depth and space as opposed to just an empty void, which is why you see that nice little bloom effect from the sun, which does get obscured. And one thing you may notice is an asteroid field off in the distance there, and a station off in the distance there, roughly 5,000 meters away. Now, keep in mind that this world is scaled down, so 5,000 meters is actually quite a bit of distance to travel. Um, you can see basically, relatively speaking, that ship is 100 meters away, but it's a pretty small object. So let's get right to it. I'm going to show you a couple things I've been working on, which is I've been working heavily on the indicator system. Okay, I've been working on the top-down tactical view camera, and also the mini-map is basically the main updates I'm going to show in this video. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on a ship here, and when you click on a ship, it will automatically bring up that battle group, and it will go to the tactical view camera, which is a top-down view perspective. And you can slide the camera around. It locks on the Y position unless you use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out, which I haven't added that yet, but I'm going to add that, which will zoom out on the Y. But by default, it will go to a certain position Y. When you click on it, now I can exit out of it and I can go back into the free flight camera and go ahead and click on another one here, and it always brings it up above the ship that you're looking at. You can see that I've also made some changes to the icons so they're not over really large and overlapping each other and making it look kind of ugly. So the ships still blink red when they're selected within the battle group, but also the targeting indicators have some different coloring to them. The blue represents a gunship class, and then if I click on a battle group here, currently I can select ships from each team. Later on, obviously the player will only be able to select their own ships and not one of the enemy team. So if I click on that ship on this team, it has fighter class ships in these squads here, which are highlighted white. Another thing you may notice is the mini-map. It's something I've been working on, and it is functional at the moment. So before I use the mini-map, I'm going to show you that there will be a drag selection. So you'll be able to select ships via the interface, but also if you want to just quickly blanket select ships and then right click on something and give some commands, there will be two different ways that you can issue orders. You'll be able to do it through this interface here, okay, but you'll also be able to simply select the ships and right click, and there'll be a window that opens near the mouse cursor to issue orders that way as well too. So I'm trying to make it as intuitive as possible to be able to use and get into the game, and multiple ways to be able to accomplish tasks, especially things that may be used a lot by the player. I want to make those the quick orders, basically, which would be the selectable orders that you, when you highlight and select ships, right click, move to position, right click, attack target, defend target. Simple orders will be in that menu, and the more complex kind of orders that require different things will likely be down here in this menu. We'll just have to see how it goes once I start implementing them. If I can get them in a more simpler, a more simple pop-up menu that pops up near the mouse cursor over the overlaying a ship that you want to either attack or whatever with the selected group of ships that you have selected. So without further ado, let's look at the mini-map. So the mini-map, you can also see that whenever I drag, I can click and hold and drag this, and we go around. And then also you can see it moves around whenever I'm moving with the tactical view slider buttons, WSD or the arrow keys. And if I go to the edge of the map, there is a bounds that you cannot go any further. Which is roughly 10,000 meters. And so I can go ahead and come in here and I can exit back into flight mode. And then you can see the stations and the battle going on in the distance. Later on, there will be things to do in the battle scene. Stations to conquer, capture, destroy, and different things in the combat zone that will add to the tactics and strategy gameplay. Hmm. Well, I just threw this in here, so I didn't actually change the emission values on it or anything. I must have forgot to do that. That's why it's glowing so brightly. And I also just kind of copied that station and didn't remove the turrets. I forgot about that. So not going to redo this video just for that. But that's pretty much it for now. Minimap, functional. It's ready for me to start populating it with various things, such as enemy ships and your ships, which will be, your ships will be white, represented by small icons, and their ship will be red. Um, Finding icons to represent ships is kind of hard. Like, to find some like pre-made, ready to go that will just work well. And I'm a programmer, not a 2D artist, so this is one of those things that, kind of sucks. You know, I wish that I looked at Eve Online and I saw how they did their icons, and I might be able to actually make my own. It'll take me a little bit of time. I am pretty well versed in Photoshop, obviously. Um, so I might make some icons that are kind of in a similar fashion to represent different classes of ships. Because they are absolutely necessary, because I can't obviously in a small space such as this print battleship or gunship or fighter or whatever. It has to be represented by an icon that's easily recognizable to the player, as well as the indicators, the off-screen indicators when a ship goes out of the camera's view frustum. You can see that I already have some for that as a gunship. You can see the little icon with a kind of shield in front of it. And then fighters. Most fighter class ships won't have shields unless it's a scout. Um, Gunship classes are bigger, will potentially have shields in the game. But you can see that the fighter class ships have that little kind of arrowy icon there, and then the stations are that little icon with the star or whatever. Just something I threw in there for now as I, you know, try to get some time to put into uh, setting the right icons that make sense. And also, this is I can go right back into the tactical view, and if I don't select a ship, so if I select a ship, it'll bring me right above it. But if I exit and I don't select a ship and I just want to go back into the tactical view camera, it'll basically just bring me straight up above wherever the camera's sitting onto the plane. Well, that's it for now, guys. I still have more work to do to the icon, the indicator system. There still are a couple issues that I'm dealing with that I want to work out. It's getting to where it's fairly complex, a lot of different conditions that have to be accounted for when it comes to all the variables, uh, you know, and distances that indicators need to be functioning at and not functioning at. Later on, ships will have like an afterburner or a booster to their speed to get between objects such as off in the far distance, but it will consume additional fuel to use it basically on the ship. So one thing that I'm about to start working on, and I'm only going to get a very basic setup for it, which is the player flight controller and a ship with a cockpit in it, and an external hull as well. So I can test some things to do with the graphic systems and the multi-layered camera system, just to make sure that everything's going to function properly with the environment. And I'll just do a very basic flight controller, nothing fancy. I'm not trying to, you know, build it out right now, but I do need something functional. And then I'm going to throw in a carrier class ship that has a hangar, and I'm going to go ahead and add a first person controller where you can walk around inside that hangar and basically get in your ship and fly out of the hangar into the battle space with that basic flight controller inside the cockpit. And you'll be able to stand around in it as the ship flies around as well, and just, you know, watch the battle unfolding outside the hangar of the carrier. Later on, I don't know if I'll actually include the first person controller. I might, just for the nostalgic sake, to allow the player to walk around and just kind of watch the battle, you know, out of the hangar if they want to. But the whole point of it is inside the hangar will be various ships that the player owns, and the player will be able to run and choose the ship that they want to fly for that battle scene, basically, or they'll be able to return to the hangar if their carrier is not destroyed and get another ship or a different kind of ship, and they'll also be able to return to the hangar to repair their ship. or if they run out of supplies and they aren't willing to wait or don't have any supply available from a supply ship or any drones available near them to resupply uh, the ship that they're piloting. So, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for some more awesome updates. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out right down here. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video and show interest in the game I'm working on. Trying to build a really, really awesome space game, you know, because we really need it. The space genre really needs something new and refreshing. And really, I'm excited to build the space game that I've always wanted to play, but no one has built. Like, it's to my knowledge anyway. And I've played a lot of 4X real-time strategy space games. I played a lot of flight simulator space games, and never have I played one that mixes the two of them together, right? That mixes real-time strategy, but allows you to also engage in a flight simulator. Aspect in space combat. The closest thing to my knowledge that has come to it is the X series games, but the X series games doesn't have a super great tactical system, and it doesn't have a good conquest or a war system as far as gameplay is concerned. You know, it's more storyline driven. It's a sandbox, but it's just not. It's not what I want. It's not the kind of gameplay that I want. That, in other words, a game designed specifically around war, tactics, conquering, and just epic action, space action battles. You know, that's what I want. You know, when you get the urge to want to fly around in a spaceship and blow stuff up, this is going to be the game for you. Because there's always going to be stuff going on in the battle scene, stuff for you to do, stuff for you to shoot at, stuff shooting back at you, stuff trying to kill you all over the place. And, anyways, I could ramble on forever, but I'm going to go ahead and get off here because I got plenty of work to do, a lot of work to do. You guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next update.